back to Live, Love, Life, and Travel. This is your girl Shamika, and if you're new here, just to let you know, I upload my travel topic videos on the weekdays, and I upload my free talk videos and my story time videos on the weekends. So if you're interested, please hit that subscribe button. So if you were here yesterday, or if you saw my last video, I don't know how I'm uploading these videos, you would know that my last video I talked about why I loved Bali, or Bali, Indonesia, and if you haven't seen it yet, please take the time to go see it, because on this video I'm going to talk about what I hated about Bali. It is a strong word. It's more like what I didn't like or care for, but yeah, so let's get into it. There's a lot of things to love about Bali, but there are a few things that like I didn't care for, but not enough for me to like never want to go back. But anyway, so one of the things that I really didn't like about Bali is it reminded me a lot of LA. And so if you saw my last video, that was one of the things I loved about Bali, that it reminded me of Venice Beach, California, which is a really laid back, artsy, cool vibe, chill beach town in LA. And that's one of the things I liked about it. But I said it reminded me of LA in the worst of ways, and it reminded me of LA in the best of ways. And the worst of ways is it had a very, like, you can tell everybody cared about what they looked like. It had a very, like, socialite type of vibe that LA can be known for. You can tell, like, people, when we went out at night, or when there was events thrown at night, like concerts or open mics or whatever, anything that was going on, everybody, you can tell, dressed up to, like, impress and to look cool and to look, like, I don't know, edgy or hip or hipster or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to look your best. There's nothing wrong with that. But I guess it's different because, like, when you're traveling through Thailand and through Cambodia, through Laos, through other places in Southeast Asia, everybody has a very, like, laid back, no fuss, bohemian hippie kind of natural vibe. No one's really wearing a lot of makeup. No one's doing a lot to their hair. No one's really trying to wear the best of the best. They're just throwing on whatever is comfortable and sort of just going. Like, if you dress up like you're going to a Sunset Boulevard like club when you go out at night here in Thailand, you're gonna look out of place. People are gonna be like, why are you so dressed up? Like, where are you going? Like, no one's trying to that hard to impress anybody. And you get used to that, and you kind and it's nice because you build up your confidence, because you know you don't need all that stuff to feel good about yourself, to feel good in your skin, and to feel beautiful. And so going from that and experiencing sort of this more natural vibe throughout the two and a half or so years I've been traveling, to a place where you can tell people were very much cared about what they looked like and how they were presenting themselves to the public. Again, there's nothing wrong with that per se. It's just different, and I guess I could have done without it. I guess full face of makeup with the bronzer and a contour and but it's like the whole look, the LA look, where like you look like you're not trying to look good, but you did spend hours trying to get this I don't care look. It's kind of like that. Like, even the boutiques in Bali all are expensive. Like, not expensive, but expensive compared to Southeast Asia. Like, all the boutiques in Bali are like LA prices. Like, you're not gonna find any cheap clothes in Bali except the jeans that I'm wearing now. They're like $2, but they're at like a secondhand shop in Bali, and I ripped holes in it myself. But everything's expensive because everyone's trying to like look kind of expensive, but like they're not trying. I don't know, it's just a feeling. You can tell people are trying to impress each other, and because it was that feeling, you felt like everybody was a part of a clique. You felt like everybody, not everybody, okay? You felt like when you went out at night, like to the events and stuff like that, you felt like a lot of people, or a good amount of people, were a part of a clique or a part of like a cool kids club, and that I didn't feel comfortable anyway just approaching any old body, because I almost felt like, well, if I don't look like you or I'm not dressed like you, then you're not going to accept me. That could have completely not been true, but it was just a feeling. It's the same like you go to LA. You can't just walk up to somebody's table, especially you know, depending on their vibe, because they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. And so it was kind of that feeling. It felt like very like closed off or inclusive or exclusive, actually. Like, you're not cool enough, so don't come over here. Like, it felt very cliquey like that, like, you know what I mean? And so that's one of the things I could have done without. That's one of the things that I didn't like so much about Bali. And I'm not saying like people were mean, I'm not saying people were assholes, I'm not even saying that what I'm saying is true. It could have just been my perspective. I'm just saying, like, that is just the feeling of it, where like, I don't have all these glamorous clothes, and my hair isn't blown in the wind, and I'm not wearing, my face isn't contoured, so you feel almost like out of place, because I don't have any of those things. I don't travel with any of those things. And it was also the attitude and the energy they were getting off to, because like, a lot of people in Bali aren't actually travelers. They're not backpackers, they're not travelers. They're people who just go to Bali and then go home, or go to Bali and then go to Ibiza, or go to Bali or go to Miami, or go to Bali and go somewhere else that's fabulous, LA or something like that, New York. They're not actually traveling. They're just going to Bali for a holiday, and that's it. And a lot of them have been back and forth from Bali for years. A lot of them maybe partially live in Bali. A lot of them have places in Bali, so they're not travelers. So it's a different atmosphere, and it's a different and I know I said in my other video that Bali has this really laid-back atmosphere. Canggu itself does, but when you get around a certain group of people, it's like this, it's a different atmosphere. It's not like a laid-back travel, bohemian, chill. Like, it's like, I look good. I look really good. Like very LA, and I know I keep comparing everything to LA because I'm from LA, so that's what I do. I'm sure other people can say like, well, that's actually like this, or that's more like that. So, you know, I had my, like, you know, rascal of friends, and there are other people that said that, like, I kind of feel out of place here, like, I should have got dressed up more, I should have put some heels on, but, like, travelers don't fucking travel with heels and all that stuff. Like, people who travel long term, or backpackers, people don't travel with that stuff. So you can tell, like, a lot of people who were in Bali came with rolly suitcases. They came with their gear, you know, because they wanted to impress, they wanted to dress up. Again, it's nothing wrong with that. It was just different because I haven't experienced that since I've been traveling, and the last time I experienced that was in LA, you know, and I would have been more prepared if it was in LA. I would have had my heels, I would have had, you know, something nicer. So yeah, it feels very socialite-y, it feels very cliquey, clubby, like cool kids clubby. Not all the time, not the complete like atmosphere of Canggu. It was just when you got into certain social situations that I felt like that. So that was kind of long-winded. Yeah. The other thing I didn't like about Bali, and I'm gonna bring this up a little bit more in another video, is that it wasn't diverse at all. And I know like diversity can be like a bad word to some people, and some people are like, well, you're in a foreign country, of course it's not gonna be diverse. And I'm not talking about the locals, because all the locals look like me. To be honest, all the locals, the Balinese locals, are all like brown skin like me, like beautiful, you know, man. But like everyone else look the same, like the same, and I'm not like exaggerating. And yeah, like black people or brown skin people or whatever, minorities who are traveling are still the minority of people who travel, but you still see some type of diversity like throughout Thailand, throughout Laos when you travel. Like nowadays, I probably will see a black person at least a couple times a week, you know, maybe not every day, but even within the Caucasian hemisphere, there's still diversity. There's blondes, there's redheads, there's brown, there's black, there's different color eyes, there's different heights, there's different bodies, some are pierced, some have dreads, some have shaved heads. Like, there is diversity within that, even that group. But in Bali, it's like, no, like they all look the same, and that's no diss or disrespect. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that. It just felt off. It just felt weird. It just like, why does everybody look the same? It's like, do I have to go dye my hair blonde? Everybody fit like the same uniform. Mostly everyone was blonde, blue eyes. Everybody had a very surfer body type, or looked Swedish, Australian, or German, or like everybody Dutch. Everybody looked the same, which that is like a lot of the people who go and start businesses and live in Bali are like German or Swedish or Australian, so that makes sense. it was just like there was just like no diversity even within the Caucasian group. It was like no, so it made my blackness even stand out more. The other thing is not a bad thing, it's just an inconvenience thing, and just me being spoiled by Chiang Mai. It's not, Bali or Canggu wasn't as convenient as Chiang Mai. Like everything you need, and I've talked about this in other videos, and I said this is why people get stuck in their little circles and their little bubbles here in Chiang Mai, because everything you need is usually in your neighborhood. You don't usually have to travel anywhere to get anything you want. Everything I want is like in arm's reach. Like everything I want is where I am. And like if you need to go to a bank or a Western Union or get a money order or exchange or tourism or anything, like anything you need is like usually gonna be in your neighborhood, if you're living in Old Town or Neiman's area anyway. And Canggu is not like that. Like a lot of times the ATMs were like out of money because there weren't a lot of ATMs, and so the few that were around got used up really quickly. So a lot of times you had to travel from one ATM to another ATM to another ATM to another ATM till you can find some money. Post offices were really kind of far away, and Western Unions, like I had to walk. I walked like an hour and a half, maybe more, to find a Western Union. And so like yeah, like because people know my backstory. Like I lost my car a long time ago, so I send my dad my money, and then my dad Western Unions my money back to me because I can't pull money out of the ATM. So when my dad sent me my money, like I was like, okay, sure, I'll just go down the street probably to go to a Western Union, and like looking on like Google Maps, like finding out the Western Unions are nowhere around me, and I had to like walk so far. And then when I got there, the Western Union lady wouldn't give me my money because my dad misspelled my middle name. So it's just like little things like that. Like there's not like a bunch of 7-Elevens all over the place, which is, I guess, it's kind of a good thing. Like, but you know, like if you know Thailand, like there's a 7-Eleven on like, there's 3 7-Elevens on one block. Like there's 7-Elevens everywhere. So every time you need anything like water, anything, like there's always either a 7-Eleven or there's always like a local mom pop like little market shop somewhere. There's always something. And then like for Canggu, it wasn't like that. Like you had to sort of like look for it. So it was like that's not a bad thing at all. Like that's not a negative really. It's just like it's just something I noticed. Like oh, it's not as like convenient, I guess, which is not, again, not a bad thing, not something I hate. It's just something I noticed. And I'm kind of like nitpicking because there's not a lot of bad things or negative things to say about Canggu. Yeah, what else? What else can I say? Oh my god, the drinks are so expensive. Like, if you like to party, if you like to drink, if you like your liquor, and make sure you got money. Like, you can easily triple your budget just by going out drinking. The drinks are the same price as they are in LA. If you want a beer, it's $7. If you want a cocktail, it's $11 to $12, $13, $14, depending on the cocktail, depending on the size. And maybe that's not a lot to people who haven't been traveling to Southeast Asia. Like, okay, that's normal price, but that's expensive for Southeast Asia. Like, I can get 3 shots for $3 here in Chiang Mai, and that would cost me a bit more than double in Canggu for a beer, like a small beer at that. And I don't mean like beer. So drinks are hella expensive, and I don't know if it's because of taxes. I don't know if because I don't know about Bali, but I know a lot of people in Indonesia are Muslim and they don't drink. So I don't know if that's the reason, but it's really expensive to drink in Bali. And I think I only bought myself 1 drink when I was there. It was actually one of those large drinks, and it was like $14, which I have never paid that much for a drink, not even in LA. I have never paid for that even in LA, even in Vegas, where drinks are like typically like $16, $20 for a drink. Because I'm a girl, I don't pay for drinks. I think that's the first time I've ever in my whole life paid $14 for a drink. That is insane. Anytime I ever had a drink before that or after that is because someone bought me a drink. But yeah, so drinking is expensive. And I'm going to talk about another video about like budget in Bali, because it's one of the places that you can very much live comfortably and still be happy in Bali on a budget. But it's so easy to triple your budget like that, because there's some things that are really cheap, really expensive, and then there's some things that are expensive, like alcohol is so expensive to drink. So I could have done without that, but you know, still, it's not like a negative, it's just a thing I noticed. videos getting long. When I left YouTube for a little bit and I was coming back, I was like, I'm gonna make an effort to make my videos shorter, but it's just who I am. I'm long-winded. I'm sorry, you know, it's just who I am, guys. But I think that's it. There's other videos I want to bring up about Bali and Canggu and stuff like that, and other ones. So I'll end it here. Those are the things I hate about Bali, which is, you know, it can be cliquey. It can be very kind of like fake, I guess. Like, it can be LA in a worst of ways. The inconvenience of it, the drinks are really expensive. It's not very diverse within the tourist or the foreign population anyway. Yeah, but that's it. That's my video. That's what I hated, or not. Hate is a strong word. It's what I noticed about Bali that you might notice and you might not like. But it's definitely not enough to like make me not want to go back to Bali. I really love Canggu, and so yeah, I really do encourage people to go. I loved it. But you might notice those things. If you've ever been to Bali and you have any things that you loved or hated about Bali, Canggu, Bali, or wherever you've been in Bali or Indonesia, feel free to put it in a comment section below. Or if you have any comments or questions of anything I said, I know sometimes I'm slow to answer my comments, but I do always eventually answer them. I thank you guys for being there again and waiting for me to come back from my travels. I love you, and I love you. Love you is a strong word. I love you like all God's children. And yeah, until next time, if you want to subscribe, if you like what you're hearing, you want to hear more, you want to see more videos, please subscribe, hit that bell for the notifications so you can get notifications when I do upload. Like this video if you like it, comment if you want to comment. I did start a Patreon if you want to help me grow, get better equipment, do more things. Feel free to donate to my Patreon. There's things that you do get if you do donate, but you can visit the link to find out those things. If you don't want to become a monthly donor, you can always just donate to my PayPal. But no pressure. You can always just like and subscribe and watch and turn off your ad blockers. And thank you from Live, Love, Life, and Travel.